Please rise and remain standing for the procession of our fourth grade students. Good afternoon. My name is Ben Thompson, and it's my honor and privilege to serve as head of lower school here at Gersdale Academy. Thank you for joining us for today's fourth grade celebration. I invite Chase Baraducci, Braden Hall, William Lute, and Liam Rowe to the stage to lead us all in the pledge of I ask you to please remain standing for the playing of the national anthem led by our very own fourth grade students. And please remain standing for the invocation by Madison Williams.
Good afternoon. I invite you to bow your heads and pray with me. Almighty God, we thank you for the many blessings you have given us, and for this day to celebrate and remember. We recognize that we are not alone in this world, and that you have provided parents, family, friends, teachers, coaches, and mentors to help guide our life. Thank you for our school and its community. We ask that you watch over us, protect us, and help us to live by our Gersdale principles and embrace our leadership attributes. We thank you for and ask that you continue to help us to humble ourselves before you and respect the divine nature of life in the universe, take responsibility for our actions and their consequences, be honest in our word, be courageous in the face of adversity, and give us the wisdom to do the right thing. Lastly, we thank you for the honor of the lives that came before us. We stand on their shoulders with lift us to higher. Make this world a better place. Amen. Please be seated.
Welcome students, families, and faculty. It is truly an honor to celebrate our fourth grade students. Joining our students on stage today are Dr. Smith, our founder, Mr. Velasco, president of Gersdale Academy, Mrs. Luke, vice president and director of admissions, Mrs. Wargo, head of middle school, Mr. Cole, assistant head of middle school, along with fourth grade instructors, Mrs. Ludden and Mrs. Staub. Thank you all for joining us for this momentous occasion. Students, you can see that adults may have different emotions than you do about this day, but my advice to you today is to be patient with them and take all those pictures they ask you to take. You have to remember that they remember when you couldn't talk, couldn't walk, put a belt on. Wait, Bendy, I think sometimes you still can't put your belt on. Now you're doing long division, coding robots, and speaking Spanish at the dinner table. As you age, parents find those opportunities to be scarcer. We tend to be so engaged, so focused, so consumed with time that we can't believe that it's up. And today is one of those moments. Parents like you, I also have mixed emotions about today, but I'm very excited about these young student leaders who strive to live by the Gersdale principles and attributes each day. What I've learned this year is that elementary school teachers live a very unique existence. Over the course of the year, they become completely intertwined with young people, and most days they spend more time with you than any other human being. Speaking of time, I've been thinking about the nature of time and how time can be fluid. It can feel different to us at different times, depending on what else is going on. We've all seen time slow down to a crawl when minutes just can't go by fast enough. It's hard to imagine that this school year is just a collection of minutes to which this has all transpired. Students, a year ago, I didn't know who several of you were. We had many new students join us this year. Today, it's hard for me to imagine a world that I don't know you. Parents, I've watched your children grow physically. Speaking of which, what do you feed children at home? They're huge. Students, I've also watched you grow socially, becoming confident, growing in your support of one another, accepting one another, even when you're upset or when your feelings have been hurt. I've watched these same students grow creatively, making stunning works of art or producing inspiring music. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year in the life? For our fourth graders, GOB, student-led conferences, entrepreneur fair, first Lego League, first grade Falcon Friends, Battle of the Books, National Spanish Exam, Rubik's Cube Club, which surprisingly to me was the first time students became less concerned about who had the most Pokemon cards. A visit to fifth grade, leadership circles, trimesters and quarters, grades, instruments, art fair, weekend tournaments, math placement tests, Peruvian dances, winter concerts, scavenger hunt in Mount Vernon, field days, standardized testing, kickball tournaments, Chuck E. Cheese, flag duty, cow, Earth Day, and a lot of pizza. That's a good way to measure a year in the life. It's also measured in grades, in kids who spontaneously broke out in song to Bruno. We won't talk about Bruno no. Most importantly, a year in the life is measured in the love you have for each other and the love you have for something more. Personally, I measured it in every day that I had the pleasure of coming to school and watching you all grow. I look forward to hearing your stories of the year in your life. With that said, I now welcome Mrs. Jen Staub to the podium to introduce our presenters.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here for this special day. For those who do not know me, my name is Mrs. Staub, or as the kids say, Mrs. Staubby. I have been teaching here at Gersdale for about 10 years, and out of all the years, I have to say that the past two, as you know, have probably been the hardest and the most challenging for not only us, but the students. A quote from Dr. Martin Luther King says, "If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But do whatever you need to do to keep moving." This quote applies to the perseverance that the students needed in order to get to where they are today. Perseverance in the classroom, or at home, on teams, rocking out with their new blue light glasses, which they bring into class, or wearing their pajama pants and their uniform shirt.
Good afternoon. I am Isola. I have been at Cristal for 2 years. Here is a quote from Mia Hamm. I am building fire, and every day it rains. I add more fuel at the right moment. I light a match of fire. It reminds me to strive for a positive attitude. My favorite memory is learning Peruvian dancing when my teacher helped me put on a big skirt and how to do the panuelo. A good thing that I did this year was hold the door for the pre-K kids. From lower school, I'll bring my patience charm so I can show the new kids how to do it in middle school. In middle school, I'll continue using principle number 1, respect your parents, teachers, and those in authority. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for letting me go to Bristol. Thank you, Ms. Coperton, for helping me so much last year. Thank you, Mr. Senior, for cleaning up our room every day. Thank you for coming and listening. Next to speak is Peyton.
Good afternoon. My name is Peyton, and this is my first year at Bristol. One of my favorite funny memories and longer moments was when I got knocked in the head by a beach ball at Family Fun Night. I am looking forward to challenging myself next year, to growing my friendships and having fun in middle school. There have been many good memories here at Bristol. I have made many wonderful friends. I look forward to middle school and all it has to bring. Finally, I will take the knowledge I have gathered, the friendships I have made, and the confidence I have found. My mom and I will continue our charity work so that we can make a positive difference in the world. I want to thank my mom for driving 4 hours a day and always being my biggest cheerleader. And thank you for paying so much for my school. I know you tried very hard. I also wanted to thank Ms. Valadon for helping me when I had that bug. And thank you for being there for all of us. Ms. Levin, I also wanted to thank you for making us smile every single day. And thank you for being there when I needed you. And finally, thank you for bringing joy and happiness in the world and in the room. My advice to anyone here at Gerstel would be to learn from principle number 3, treat others the way you want to be treated, and leadership principle number 4, be courageous in the face of adversity. I believe we should all work together in our next chapter and realize we are all on the same team. We are getting through this together. Thank you all for coming. And next to present is Lily.
Good afternoon. My name is Lily Bennett. This is my first year as a Bristol Academy student. My favorite quote from portrait leader Doris Haddock is, "Let us choose to live and love and happily use ourselves up loving service to another," which means that we should all be kind and respect others. People's actions are contagious. If I'm sad, then you are likely to be sad as well. I remember when Grace and I rewrote a Katy Perry song. She fell off the swing from laughing so hard. I'm very excited and thankful to be here now. I have learned so much from this year of my life, and I'm taking with me friends and a special time here at Motor School. I can use many attributes in the future. Attribute L, listen, principle number 3, treat others as you want to be treated, and perseverance are some of them. Thank you, with Mom and Dad, for helping me. Thank you, Miss Staub, for helping me find things and for supporting me. Thank you for listening. Up next is Isabel.
Good afternoon. My name is Isabel Berarducci. I have been at Gerstel Academy for 2 years. A story I will always remember is when Maddie and I were on the playground and I laughed so hard my stomach hurt because I splashed water on Maddie and myself. Some advice I give my future self is to check the portal every night, take action when I can, and to always persevere. I once persevered to finish my math placement test because it was challenging. I will take my principles and attributes, friends, funny moments, and good manners to the middle school. When I go into middle school, I will always remember the 4th grade versus faculty kickball game, which we sadly lost. Princess Diana once said, "Family is the most important thing in the world."
me, this quote means to always put family first and to make sure they're always okay. I want to thank my parents for giving me the opportunity to come to this amazing school. I also want to thank Ms. Shockley for being a fun substitute and watching us during lunch, Dr. Schmidt for creating this beautiful school, and Mr. Thompson for making my last year of Lower School fun and amazing. Thank you for listening. Next to speak is Maya.
Good afternoon. My name is Maya Villanova. I have been at Gersdale for 6 years. A cute and funny story I have is seeing the kind faces of teachers and mentors. That's most likely why I called most of my teachers Mommy. Sorry, Mom. But just from my experience, I now know how safe and nurturing this community is. Our school lives up to this challenge. Theodore Roosevelt once said, "Far and away, the best prize that life has to offer is the chance to work hard at work worth doing." This quote inspires me to work hard and not take school and my education for granted. Some advice I would give my future self is to listen and look on the portal every day and look for my homework. One thing I'll take from lower school is my principles, attributes, good friends, and good manners. I plan to act on my principles and attributes by remembering them and showing them through my actions in good ways. I want to thank my mom and my dad, and especially my papa, for always helping me work harder and reach my full potential. I thank them and many others for lunch, transportation, and growing as a leader. I have a special staff member to thank, and that person is Mr. Gordon. I want to thank him for helping me be a better 4th grade leader with my peers and always listening to my mom's stories. I also want to thank Miss Staub for helping math and Miss Lutton for helping humanities and more, especially the long lectures. I have a big thank you to Mr. Thompson, Dr. Smith, and Mr. Glasgow. Thank you all for your attention. Next to speak is Calvin.
Good afternoon. My name is Calvin. I've been a student at Gersdale for 4 years. I was not here for 2020 because I chose to be homeschooled and I did not want to be exposed to COVID. I came back because I missed my friends. My favorite quote by Louis Armstrong is "What we play is life." A story from earlier this year, once we had learned to play the violin, I felt we played pretty good when we played on Playa de la Lune. I use principle number 5 every day to strive for a positive attitude even when I'm sad or angry. I will always remember the moments on the kindergarten playground. I would like to thank my parents for sheltering, feeding, and paying for going to school. I'd also like to thank Mr. Haggard for being an excellent kindergarten teacher. I would also like to thank the audience for listening, and we will now hear from Grace.
Good afternoon. My name is Grace, and I have been at Gersdale for 6 years. In the years I have attended this school, I have realized what a nurturing and safe community the lower school is. A quote from one of my favorite Porsche leaders, Albert Einstein, is, "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used to create them." A good memory in lower school is when we got to go to Chuck E. Cheese because we completed the Patriots Challenge. The quote links to the story because we found prizes along the way. While we would memorize, we would have to say it to Miss Lutton before we would forget it. Sometimes I would get to her desk and then turn back around because I forgot it. The advice I would give my future self is always check the portal, even if you think there's no homework. Something I will take with me from the lower school with me is the principles and attributes. I would like to thank my mom and dad for letting me go to this amazing school. I would also like to thank Miss Mummert for coaching the Lego League. Thank you for listening. Next we will hear from Betty.
Good afternoon. My name is Benny, and I've been going to Gersdale Academy for 4 years. Here's a quote from my favorite portrait leader, Anne Frank. "No one has ever become poor by giving." Here's a funny story from when I was in the 1st grade. Back on Halloween Day in the 1st grade, one of the teachers dressed up as me, with his pockets untucked, his belt unbuckled, shoes untied, and his shirt untucked. because when I was in first grade, I was a mess. I would like to give advice to all the lower school students to always be kind, respectful, and kind to your parents, teachers, and those in authority, because they know more than we do and only want the best for us. Going on into middle school, I plan on taking all the knowledge I have learned from the lower school, as well as being respectful and responsible to all my middle school teachers. Here's a motivational quote from my favorite portrait leader, Anne Frank again. Whoever is happy will make others happy too. Think of this quote in hard times, and it will help you get through those times. As well, if your friends are in hard times, you can help your friends get in better mood. I want to thank all of our parents for getting us into the school, driving us so far every day, and how much they love us. I want to give a special thanks to Miss Byron. The reason I want to give a shout out to her is because she helped me with my math so very much, and even though I didn't realize it in the second grade, I'm so grateful for it now because it's the only reason I get good grades in math, and without her, my grades wouldn't be as good. Thank you for listening. Have a great day, and next to present is Lacey.
Good afternoon. My name is Lacey. I am in Bristol Academy for 1 year. A quote from one of my favorite Bristol Academy portrait leaders, Martha Graham, is, "Dance is the hidden language of the soul of the body." This quote is important to me because it means that you can express yourself through dance. An inspiring moment for me is when I first tried on a curving skirt and when I laid my first funny wheel. A leadership moment of mine is when I took action to lead Mr. Palacios' Falcon Connection video. Advice that I give to myself for next year is just relax and do the best that I can. Advice that I give to third grade for next year is fourth grade is easy, but you have to use lots of critical thinking, so get good rest. A good experience of mine is when I got to touch Benny's alpaca, Ginger, or when we performed the Peruvian dance routine at Leadership Circle in front of the entire lower school. Thank you to my friends and family for supporting me and going to new school. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for all you have done for me. Thanks to Mr. Sumo and Mr. Wills for keeping our school clean. Thank you, Ms. Smith, for taking us out every afternoon to take the flags down. Thank you, Dr. Smith, for creating this wonderful school. And thank you, Ms. Lutton and Ms. Donald, for being the best teachers a fourth grader could ever ask for. Thank you for listening, everybody. We will now hear from one of my friends, Charlotte Loud.
Good afternoon. My name is Charlotte. I have been at Gestalt for 6 years. A funny story is that one time I forgot how to spell was. I had to ask. My favorite quote from Mae Jemison is, "We are all tasked to balance and optimize ourselves." I don't balance myself often, but I have learned how to. An important leadership moment is when I helped Maya learn long division. I also remember one time we had danced for Miss Button to perform in front of the school. I would like to thank my parents for getting me into the school and paying for it every year. I'd also like to thank Ms. Eisman for teaching me all those years ago. It prepared me so much for Ms. Snyder's class. Thank you for listening, and now we will hear from Bella.
Good afternoon. My name is Bella. This is my first year at Bristol. One of my favorite quotes is by Abraham Lincoln. "I don't like that man. I must know him better." This means at first I don't like someone. I need to try to understand them better, and they will maybe become my friend. A funny memory from this year was when Miss Swan did a funny llama on the TV. The llama looked
up to me and said, "Are you okay?" And I said I was scared. And we started talking about what we liked, and that made me feel a lot better. And now to this day, we are best friends. And here's some advice that you should use. When I was in second grade, I said that I knew principle number 9, but I wasn't being honest, ethical, moral, and true to my word. Now, I think principle number 9 is cool, and as I use it later in life, and as I continue to be thankful and generous with my time, talents, and treasures. Here's also a quote from Neil Armstrong. "That's one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind." And I picked this quote because you need to be a good leader. And there are 2 things that I would like to take from the lower school, which is all my friends and all the principles and attributes. I'd like to give a big thanks to my parents. Thank you, Miss Stahl, otherwise I not know how to add. Thank you, Miss Snyder, for teaching me about the rock cycle, animal life, and natural disasters. Thank you, Mr. Thompson, Mr. Palasko, and Dr. Smith. Thank you for listening. Next to present is my best friend, Kieran.
Good afternoon. My name is Kieran, and I've been a Gersdale student for 5 years. My favorite quote is from Dr. Martin Luther King. It's wrong to hate, it always has been wrong, and it always will be. I like this quote because it makes us remember that we are all people. We are all the same. We should treat each other as more we treat. A funny story is when Brock and I were in kindergarten, we dressed up in princess dresses because we were in playtime. So my advice for future me is to check the portal every night. I will take the principles and attributes with me into middle school. I would like to thank Ms. Bachmeyer for teaching me about Mesopotamia. I would like to say thank you to my mom and dad for letting me go here, my sister for driving me to school, and the audience for listening. Next present is Carter.
Good afternoon, my name is Karthik Shettigar. I have now been a Gersdale Academy student for 1 year. I'm eager to share this with you. One of the quotes that a group of portrait leaders, the Beatles, said was that, "What I have to say is all in the music. If I have something to say, I write a song." That can relate to me because I play 5 instruments, but I'm best at guitar, and that quote was by Paul McCartney, the Beatles guitarist. I also have a funny story from 4th grade. One day I forgot to bring my llama folder to school, and it just happened to be an American Revolution test day. Because of that, now I keep in my backpack after my homework is done, so it's ready for the next day. I'm also really excited for middle school next year. I think we'll open up lots of opportunities for me, and I will work to reach my full potential. I will also give middle school my all. I already use attribute P as in perseverance, and I will continue to do that next year to set the example. Next, I want to thank my parents for giving me continuous support throughout the year. Also, thank you, Ms. Daly, for teaching us the violin, trumpet, clarinet, and chimes, and for being so patient with me during music class. Additionally, a thank you to Mr. Sumo for keeping our rooms clean. Finally, a thanks to all of you for showing attribute L and listening to me so intently. Our next speaker will be Sakshi.
Good afternoon. My name is Sakshi. I have been at Gersdale for 1 year. Here's a quote from my favorite portrait leader, Mary Carey. "Nothing in life is to be feared, it is only to be understood." The reason I chose this quote is because it tells me not to be afraid of challenges. My favorite part of school this year was my first time holding and using a pañuelo. I loved it because of the skirt and twirls. Some advice for the future me is to always look on the portal even if you think there's nothing on it. Some things I can take from lower school is manners and kindness. What I can take away from principles and attributes is principle number 3, treat others as you want to be treated, and attribute P, perseverance. Now I want to thank my parents for driving and paying for school. And finally, I want to thank Miss Canday for sharing her time, talents, and treasures
Good afternoon. My name is Hannah, and I've been a student at Christelle for 5 years. B. Gaddy once said, "The people coming to our doors for help may not have food, clothing, or shelter, but they do have their dignity, and how dare we be the ones to take that away from them?" It means that you should help the homeless and take care of people that you love. I have a funny story to tell you. My class and I were learning the Marinara, and all the girls were wearing big, flowy skirts over our uniforms, and it was really windy outside. I was doing a turn, and my skirt flew on my head, and I was dancing with my skirt on my head. Some good advice I was telling my future self is to always check the toilet, even though I don't think I have homework. I would like to thank my parents for paying for this amazing school and the audience for listening. I would like to give a special thank you to Ms. Lutton for being my homeroom teacher and teaching almost all of my subjects. Thank you for listening, and next you will hear from Cameron. Good afternoon. My name is Cameron, and I have been a student at Gersdale Academy for 6 years. One of my favorite quotes is from Portrait leader Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He said that we must accept finite disappointment but never lose infinite hope. We may fail sometimes, and we have to continue to persevere and never lose hope. When I was in pre-K, I was the only boy, and I had infinite hope for the next few years. Fortunately, the next year in kindergarten, there were more boys. No offense to the girls, because all my classmates are my friends. For the 6 years I've been at Gersdale, I believe principal university, treat others as you want to be treated, is my favorite principle because it can give you the chance to see the good in all people while spreading positivity all around. I will take the Gersdale principles and attributes with me in middle school. I want to show my gratitude for my mom and dad who provided me the opportunity to go to this school and my teachers for teaching me. I want to thank Ms. Holthouse for being a great kindergarten teacher. We all know that you learn everything you need to learn in life for kindergarten. I also want to thank Ms. Khan for coming in last year to teach science when Ms. Dodd was away and for always being so positive and caring. Ms. Zito and Ms. Chagallus, thank you for giving me snacks when I was very little. Lastly, I want to thank Mr. Velasco for his leadership and Dr. Smith for creating this amazing school. That concludes our speeches. Thank you all for coming and listening. Next we will be hearing from Ms. Lutton.
They're a tough act to follow, aren't they? Give them a round of applause. Great job. Thank you, Pam, for the introduction. Good afternoon. My name is Patty Lutton, and this is my second year at Gersdale. It's been amazing. Albert Einstein said, "I never teach my pupils. I only attempt to provide the conditions in which they can learn." That has been my goal since I started teaching. I just didn't know he had said it, so I learned something new. As we proudly celebrate our fourth graders' transition to middle school, I pray that I have done my job. After living and learning through these pandemic years, I am once again hopeful about the future. These young leaders have demonstrated a love for learning that I feared was somewhat lost. They don't simply recite the principles and attributes. They live them. I have daily examples. I will only bore you with a couple. First, in Spanish, I took a risk. I suggested that the class could learn Peruvian dance from the Hispanic Culture Festival. They not only learned it and performed it, but they did it with passion, conviction, and persistence. They learned with more than a positive attitude. They did it enthusiastically. They really made this native Peruvian really happy. Second, at the beginning of the year, they tried to use me as their spelling resource. I will not always be there to spell things, so I prefer that they learn to use a valuable resource. No, not Google, but an ancient artifact called a dictionary. My students quickly learned that Mrs. Lutton spells every word as M-I-C-K-E-Y-N-O-U-S-T, also known as look it up in the dictionary. Dictionary races were a favorite activity, and I wish we had done more. I did learn that they are definitely not passive learners. Just yesterday, it only took them a few moments with a little bit of prompting to realize that the dictionaries that I gave them as their end-of-the-year gift have a misprinted section. Some of the pages containing words that begin with a B, and maybe others are a little cut off. They were gracious and decided that these dictionaries would be just fine because they would allow them to be resourceful and look at the guide words to figure out the starting letters, right? Figuring out the answer for yourself is most of the fun. There are so many people here to thank. In particular, I want to express appreciation for my colleague and friend, Mrs. Staub. Without her calming presence and thorough knowledge of all things Gerstel, this year would not have been as great. Thank you, Dr. Smith, Mr. Velasco, and Mr. Thompson. Thank you, colleagues and parents, and most of all, thank you, fourth graders, for your enthusiasm and for giving llamas a chance. Albert Einstein also said, teaching should be such that what is offered is perceived as a valuable gift and not as a hard duty. For me, this year has been a gift rather than a duty, and I am hopeful that my students felt the same way. And if that is even a little bit true, if the year felt as short to them as it did to me, then mission accomplished. To all of you, thank you for listening, and congratulations, class of 2030. I'd like to invite Calvin and Hannah to present the class gift.
Good afternoon.
The fourth grade class would like to express our appreciation to the entire lower school faculty and staff by donating a commemorative brick on behalf of the fourth grade class. The brick is slated fourth grade 21-22, first on the class of 2030. The brick will be seated in front of the Carolyn B. Smith Hall facing the quad. Thank you, lower school faculty, for all your support and encouragement for helping us grow as students and leaders. We would also like to thank Dr. Smith and Mr. Glasgow for supporting this idea and for all they have done throughout our lower school journey. We ask Mr. Thompson to step forward to receive this gift from the fourth grade class.
Thank you, Calvin and Hannah, for this generous gift. I invite Mr. Velasco to the podium to present the Lower School Leadership Award. Advice to my future self is to check the portal. Mrs. Washington will attest to the need to do that. Before I proceed, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Thompson and Mrs. Smith on their first year, successful, awesome year in our Gerstel Lower School. Thank you both so much. When Mr. Thompson learned he was going to be able to hire Ms. Smith to help him and to work in the lower school, he had no idea that she was going to carry 99% of the load. Neither did I hire her. The lower school faculty serves as the bedrock of our school. Dr. Smith and I constantly brag about you teachers and the wonderful job you do with our students. You can look at our upper schoolers and you can tell right away which ones came to our lower school. They not only know our leadership model, but they live it on a daily basis. So please don't be students
The recipient of this award is selected by the lower school faculty in recognition of exemplary leadership qualities. Here are a few things this young leader's teachers had to say about this year's winner. The student is a quiet leader who definitely leads by example. Their peers tend to look to him or her for an example of how to behave. The student's application of the principles and attributes is often outstanding. The student always does her or his best academically and is consistently prepared for class. The student's conduct in the classroom generally sets the example for peers, and the student makes good seating choices in order to minimize distractions. Sometimes sitting next to your best friend can be a distraction. The student was consistent in their work ethic. They helped their peers to stay on task when they were otherwise distracted. During the preparation for the Peruvian dance, the student helped to encourage the boys to stick with it. The student's good humor and enthusiasm for learning the dance was instrumental in making sure all students stayed on track and eventually performed the dance successfully in public. The student has taken an active leadership role during the first Lego League this year. The student leads by example with a humble attitude, naturally showing principle 3 with others. And finally, the student works to reach his or her full potential with all assignments, tasks, and projects. When your name is called, please come join me here for a photo and my congratulations. The 2021-2022 Lower School Leadership Award is awarded to Cameron Thompson. Thank you, Mr. Velasco. Some closing remarks to the fourth grade class, the great mama class of 2030. Always remember that a leader is in each one of you. Being a leader means stepping into a challenge, even if the end outcome can result in failure. While you may be a little nervous about middle school, trust in yourself and find your own way to be a leader. On behalf of the lower school faculty, thank you for your flexibility. Thank you for your honesty, your curiosity, for your passion. Thank you for being you. Thank you for inviting me into your lives this year. I've loved spending this precious time with you. Know that I will always have a firm handshake, a hug, or a fist bump waiting for you. We'll be here for help when you need it and advice if you seek it. We'll be here for a reminder of where you came from or a break from the journey to wherever you are headed next. We'll be there with love and support anytime you come looking for it. I would again like to emphasize how proud I am of all of our student leaders, and I'd like to acknowledge all of our lower school faculty by asking them to please stand. But please hold your applause. Fourth grade students, would you please also rise to express your appreciation to the faculty. These teachers serve as additional parents, empathetic communicators, patient and compassionate listeners, mentors, advocates, and sometimes aggravating enforcers. I would like to also express appreciation by acknowledging the opportunity Dr. Smith has provided to each of us through his vision. I would also like to express appreciation to Mr. Velasco for the leadership he has provided to our administration, faculty, students, and families. Thank you, Ms. Luke, for your guidance and support as well. In the lower school, nothing would be possible without the leadership of Ms. Smith, coupled with the assistance of Mrs. Seymour. Mrs. Daly, thank you for being our master of ceremony today. Mr. Scholl, Director of Facilities, and his staff have once again transformed this gymnasium into a venue for today's celebration. I thank you all parents for your partnership. In closing, fourth grade students, be determined to fill every moment with hope, most of all, love. Love your family, love each other, love what you do, and love yourself. We will now conclude our ceremony with the singing of our alma mater, led by our fourth grade students. We invite you to please stand and remain standing for the recession. And please join us for light refreshments and a special presentation on the monitor just behind you, immediately